Coach, I'm 42. Advise can you advise how I can train? I can recover. I can recover very slowly. Dance, workout, and music asks, I'm 42. Can you give me some advice on how to recover better? Guys, what is the number one top 10? If you had to top 10, what's the number one way to recover? What is it? What is it? What's number one? Well, if you ask, I'm forgetting his name. Forgive me. If you ask Westside Barbell Coach, oh my God, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. Louis Simmons. Before I even Googled it, thank God. Sorry, guys. Late, great Louis Simmons passed away in 2022. For those of you who don't know, one of the greatest strength coaches in history. No doubt. One of the greatest strength coaches in history. Louis Simmons passed away in 2022. What would he say? Number one on his list. Anabolic steroids. Anabolic steroids. Not sleep, not diet, not nutrition. No. Anabolic steroids. Guys, his works are incredible. He publishes them for free. He writes essays on every topic. I've read so much of his work, a crazy amount of his work. He's a brilliant thinker. What's the number one? Anabolic steroids. Now, I've never taken anabolic steroids. I don't recommend you take anabolic steroids, even though you're 42. What I recommend, number one, is don't overdo it, guys. Consistency over intensity. If you're going to start doing something, start with a mild dose. This is the best way to develop tolerance. Imagine you had to drink this vial of poison, and if you drank it, it would kill you. Well, guess what? Training is kind of the same way. If you train really, really hard, you're going to break bones, you're going to pop tendons, you're going to rupture ligaments, you're going to hurt yourself, you're going to feel crummy, you're going to destroy your testosterone is going to dip. You're going to feel like dysfunctional the next day. You're going to have cloudy thinking, you're going to be weak, you're going to be grouchy. The symptoms of overtraining are the same as depression. I'm going to say that again. The symptoms of overtraining are identical to depression. Now, imagine I had to drink this vial of poison. If I drink half of it, I get really sick. If I drink all of it, I would die. What would I do? Well, I'll take a sip. Every day I take a little sip. Eventually, I can drink half the bottle and I feel fine. Eventually, I can guzzle the whole thing. Feel fine. Doesn't kill me. Might kill you, won't kill me. It's the same idea with training. Start with a sip. You watch the movie, it's New Year's, you put on 10, 20 pounds, you're like, hey, I'm going to burn this fat off right now, tomorrow. The next 48 hours, I'm burning all the fat that I put on. It took me 2 months to put it on, Christmas, New Year's, birthday, I got really fat, and now I'm going to burn it off in a week. Wrong, it doesn't work that way. If you do everything right, you can only take off 1 pound of fat per week. That's if you do everything right. Most of you won't. Most of you will lose 1/4 pound a week. Guys, when you train, it's all about building momentum. You start with a sip. You see how you feel the next day. If you feel good, take another sip. If you don't feel good, take a day of rest. Take a day or two of rest. Then take another sip and another sip, another sip, until you're drinking half a bottle. Okay? But this takes a process, guys. It's a process. It's like you're growing a plant. It can't happen in 24 hours. That's where people make the biggest mistake. So on my top 10 list, number one is don't overdo it. Focus on consistency over intensity. I talk about it in my book, PDF. When you get strong and stable knees, it comes with a PDF guide. Explains you the principles of strong and stable for life. How to be strong and stable for life. We're building a tolerance to training. We're not training to burn calories. We're training to build a tolerance. Every day we go in there, we take a little bit of poison, and then we see how we feel. If the next day we feel fine, we take a little bit more poison. If the next day we feel a little bit iffy, we take less. And we listen to our bodies. I talk about it in the PDF. No trainer can tell you exactly how many reps and sets. They're just guessing. That's the big secret. You guys want to know a big secret about training? Trainers are just guessing. You come into their office, they do an assessment. They're like, how much does this guy train in a week? They're like, okay, you want me to make you a program? Okay, I'll make you a program. Okay, what do you do now? What have you been doing the last 2 years? Well, I run twice a week. I'm pretty regular, and I do abs once a week. Oh, that's all you do? Yeah. Okay. Now the trainer is like, oh, how far do you run? How what pace do you run at? He figures that out. He guesses your volume, and then he increases it by a little. Okay. Now, it's not rocket science to increase your workout by a little. It's not rocket science. Okay. Well, all you have to do is every day when you wake up, you gotta have to ask yourself how you feel. You move your shoulder, like, wait a second, my shoulders are sore. Oh, yesterday I was doing military press. Oh, my shoulders need a break. They're sore. The dose I gave them yesterday was enough to put them in recovery. They're in a process of recovering. Okay, I'm not going to do shoulders today. I'm going to do some grappling technique and I'm going to do some abs, and I don't feel like I roll. My shoulders are too tight. Okay, no rolling today. Let's do a little Aerodyne. Let's give our body a little dose of Aerodyne. You wake up the next day. You assess. Oh, my shoulders feel better. My legs are a little sore. I hit it too hard on the Aerodyne. You know what? Today's another slow day. And then the following day, you feel, hey, I feel really good. Aerodyne's not so bad. Legs are good. Aerodynes there's no negative contraction. I feel recovered. Okay, today I'm going to roll. I'm going to go live. And then I'm going to do a little military press, but just a little less than I did last time. I do military press again. Maybe the last time I did 3 sets of 10. This time I'm going to do 3 sets of 10 with a slightly lighter weight. And all of a sudden, my shoulders feel good the next day. Oh, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give them another dose. A little stronger one this time. See what the feedback is. The idea is to train with just a small amount of soreness, very small amount of soreness or tightness, very small amount. The minimum dose you can create, not the maximum, the complete opposite of what people do. Okay? That is the secret to training for life. Now, my friend here is 42. He's saying, look, I worked out and I'm in pain the next day. I feel miserable. Yeah, it's not good for you to do that. You're going to lower your testosterone. If you increase cortisol, if you increase inflammation, you increase cortisol. Cortisol suppresses testosterone. Guys, we want maximum testosterone. You got to train the right amount and you got to eat a lot. You got to eat well. Not a lot. You got to eat well. And I've noticed that eating more meat, guys, has put on more muscle. You guys know I've been flirting with carnivore diet. I've put on more muscle. That's what I love about the diet. I used to have the muscle I have on now. I used to work really hard on the weights. Now I don't have to work so hard. That's which I love because it gives me more time to do mixed martial arts, grappling, wrestling, boxing, etc. I don't have to worry about losing muscle because when you do a lot of martial arts, you get skinny, you get scrawny. You lose muscle. Not the case now. I'm eating more meat, muscle staying on. I do my weights, yeah, but I don't have to go so hardcore on it. Okay, guys, I hope that helped. What time is it now? Okay, we've done over an hour. Guys, I'm going to finish this up. We're coming on the tail end of the show. Mr. Joe TRT overtrains like crazy. That's from Oh Really? Yeah, guys, if you're on steroids, you can train like a madman. That's what steroid does. Steroids replenish your testosterone. Why do you feel so crummy the next day? Because your body's in recovery. You gave it a lot of work to your body to do. Your body has to take a lot of the nutrients, rebuild those muscles. It has to overcome the inflammation. It has to produce more testosterone than you spent. It has to go through what a phase we call supercompensation. If you're injecting steroids synthetically, all that is taken care of. The next day you wake up, you feel fine. You have more testosterone than you did before you worked out. That's the whole beauty of PEDs. However, word to the wise, you can have many diseases arise from this, and you could lose your testicles. Don't forget, you can lose your testicles. Listen carefully to me. If you take steroids synthetically, your testicles no longer need to produce testosterone. If you stay hooked on it for too long, if you don't go through a post-cycle treatment, if you don't get off the pony ride, you'll eventually shrink your testicles. Think about that, okay? That's why Coach would never touch a steroid.